Hi, welcome to Catalinas Archive. Today I'm going to do a sci-fi recommendation for people who are starting sci-fi or for people who hate sci-fi. And we are starting off strong with Project Hail Mary. This is an incredible sci-fi that is thrilling and fast-paced and perfect for anyone. The story follows Rylan, who wakes up in this ship and he doesn't know who he is or what is he doing there or what his mission is. He just wakes up and find their other teammates in the ship dead. And so we slowly, as the book progresses, starting to know more things like who he is and what is he doing there or what is the mission. And one of the most amazing things of this book is the twist that happened. I never saw it coming and they were just amazing. And this book ultimately, I'm not going to say with who, but it's about friendship and how friendship can be so different from what are we used to. This book is nearly impossible to put it down, and I think because it's so fast-paced, it's so easy to read. It's perfect for anyone who wants to get an introduction of what sci-fi is. At most times, it just feels like a thrilling book that you don't even realize that is in space, and they're dealing with these themes of science fiction, but you don't really see it coming. You get so invested in the story that you forget, and you just know how amazing this book is. The only downside that this book has for new people is that it's quite technical. It has a lot of long descriptions of science and how the science works in this world. But what it makes it so good is that the science parts are never so difficult to understand that you feel dumb or you feel like you don't get it. It's always more like, oh, this is curious and I want to know more. Especially for people that like science in high school or just like to know about astronomical stuff. And I think this book combines those sciencey bits with the more thrilling part really well. So if you are coming to sci-fi as a thriller or mystery fan, I think this book is going to be right up your alley. Other book that is for the thrilling and mystery fans is Dark Matter. This one is better going with as little information as possible, so I won't spoil anything. What I can say is this book starts as an ordinary setting, a man, his family, everyday life, but very quickly things starting to go strange, and he gets attacked by a person and he doesn't know who attacks him, and that's how the book starts. So as with Project Hail Mary, this book is fast-paced, it's thrilling, it has high stakes, but with sci-fi at its core that you don't even notice that it's there. And the most good fact is that it's reading super accessible, gripping in a way that readers from all genres can enjoy. And it's really amazing how these authors really step up the game and just make such a great book. I believe there's an adaptation coming or it's already there, but this book feels cinematic. It has action scenes and it's a little bit like pew pew and you are really with the tension going on, so it's super fun to read. So if you're looking for a sci-fi that is psychological thriller, you are going to enjoy this one. Other book that I want to recommend is A Long Way to Small Angry Planet. That was difficult to say. This book is a perfect sample of what is called cozy sci-fi. If you enjoy a quieter and more simple but also charming story, like those in fantasy and romances, you are going to like this one. The story follows Rosemary, who joins the crew of the spaceship Wayfarer. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but she's hoping to escape a complicated past, and she realizes that each crew member has its own story and their own past that they want to escape from. And so this story ultimately is about founded family and how this spaceship becomes a space of trust, and it's super nice to read about because there's no high stakes, there's just warmth in human connection and just a family that they have found in each other. And I must say this has the best character that is AI, because the spaceship has an AI, and it's just wonderful to see how different persons, or in this case races, one is like a bird kind of species, and another is more like a twin. So each race that they are from is different and interact differently, and they experience love in a different way. So for example, one has multiple partnership and others don't, and that is okay. So this book is really nice and you should read it. Now we have another thrilling one, that is Ready Player One. The story follows Wade, who is a teenager living in a bleak future who escapes reality going in this alternative dimension virtual world that is called Oasis, and the creator of this game or virtual dimension dies. He left a puzzle to solve, and whoever who solves it is going to become millionaire. So Wade is trying to discover the puzzles that this person left behind while trying to make friends, but in the end just one person can win. So this book is perfect if you like video games and you like pop culture references. And even though I'm not a video games fan myself, I really like the setting and the nostalgia that you feel when you're reading it, because this is set like in the 80s. Like what would happen if the 80s have a virtual game reality? It really feels like stepping into a video game. The only thing that is bad and good at the same time is just this is YA. So it's really easy to read, it's really simple in the writing, but at the same time that makes it super fast paced and you feel like you read a little bit and you're reading a lot. So it's quite good. So if you're looking for a high energy ride that is going to remind you of video games, this is perfect for you. Now we have a phenomenal short story collection that is called Stories of Your Life and Others. This is more a philosophical one and I just love it. It is one of my favorite sci-fis of all. Each story offers you something unique and something that I have never seen explored before. In one story we're exploring linguistics, in another we're exploring religion. Some stories lead into hard sci-fi, others into light sci-fi, and also in between. But each one it's like you step into a world that you have never imagined. It's quite amazing how it does it. The atmosphere of these stories feel unique and grounded and human. My personal favorite is Stories of Your Life, that it became a movie that is called Arrival. I also recommend the movie, it's excellent. And this story delves into first contact with aliens and how we really would communicate with them, how we would find out the language system that they use, what sort of person would find out how to speak with these aliens. And so we have long classes about linguistics, and I really love when books have like little classes in them so you can learn. And this book especially has a lot of that, so I really like it. And especially if you come from a fantasy setting and you like, for example, Babel, where also explore themes of linguistics and languages, I feel like you're really going to like this one. Overall, the story collection has something for everyone, and I really recommend for more of the people that like science, and it's just emotional, have thick ideas, and it's just beautiful written. Just for the ride, I just love it. So yeah, that's Story of Your Life. The next one is an absolutely classic. It's Flowers for Algernon. This is a deeply emotional story that doesn't feel like sci-fi at all, and it stays with you much longer than when you read it. I read it a few years ago and I still think about this book. The story follows Charlie, who has intellectual disability. So the book starts when he starts his experimental procedure, and we see how he slowly gains intellectual abilities. And so this book delves really into what intelligence means, because there's a lot of types of intelligence. And so there's emotional intelligence, there's factual intelligence. And so when he goes into these experiments, what we see is not that he just learns how to do science, history, and everything in between, but we just see how his emotions and his social connections change because of that. So this book doesn't feel and doesn't read like a sci-fi at all. There's tiny science descriptions of how the experimental works, but it's really the story about Charlie and how he interacts with the world. This is a timeless story, an emotional one. You're going to end up crying. I guarantee you that you're going to go crying because of this book. And just the themes of emotional vulnerability and the nature of intelligence are dealt with with incredible sensibility, and it's just amazing. I truly love this book, and I feel like this is a classic that everyone should read and everyone is going to enjoy. I don't see how anyone could hate this book. It's just quite difficult to read at first because I didn't mention, but the book starts with him writing letters of these experimental. So it starts off with his bad writing, his bad grammar, his all bad things. But there's some charm in it too, so you just have to push through the beginning. So that was Flowers for Algernon. For another beautiful, heartful book, we have The Humans But Mad Hate. This book is warm, is funny, is lightheaded. I really like this too. This story centers on around a simple idea: what would happen if aliens come to Earth, and especially one alien transforms into a person and decides to answer the questions of what humanity is. And this book is super funny because we realize we don't make much sense as a species. So at first the alien is trying to figure out how we talk, how our everyday life is, and there's one of the most precious connection that is the dog that this person has, and how the alien has to interact with the dog, and the dog is just like, I want my toy being thrown out, and you're like, and he thinks like, why this dog wants this? And like he tries to talk with them, but it doesn't work. So it's like a very funny situation. But what happens is that this alien slowly starts to realize in this book the questions of what humanity has. What is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of our society? Why and how persons live like this? Why some of them has social relationship? Why some of them have not? And so it's very interesting to see how to take a step back and see humanity as a whole and the questions that we ask ourselves. So it's really profound in the end. And I'm not going to say more for not spoiling it, but I think it's very deeply emotional and deals with a lot of things that I really like. So if you like literary fiction, you will like this book. And if you really like philosophical questions, also you will like this, because it's more philosophical than sci-fi, I would say. For the 8th book, we have Ursula K. Le Guin, The Lathe of Heaven. This book delves into what happens if your dreams become a reality. This is a short but powerful novel that is about 200 pages, so if you have a little bit of time, you can read it. And it's just super fast paced, and take this simplistic idea and takes it to the wildest and most thought-provoking streams that I would have never thought of. But it just makes sense when you're reading it. At first, you see like how these dreams become a reality, and then you start exploring this theme more and more. So the story unfolds in super surprising ways, and its ending is going to shock you. I think I never saw it coming, the ending. But it's also the kind of book that makes you think about power and control and the consequences of trying to fix the world. Ursula K. Le Guin writing is sharp, is clear, is concise, and I just love it. She just communicates big ideas without feeling overwhelming, that I find amazing. So if you're looking for something more philosophical, something short, this is a perfect novel for you. The next one is Never Let Me Go. This book, you need to go read it without knowing anything. The less you know, more perfect it is, and the more powerful the experience. Never Let Me Go is all about emotion and atmosphere. I just love it. Every time that I picture it, I imagine like the movie that is on, that is Never Let Me Go, where the colors are soft and light, and you just feel like in a gentle, soft dream. The relationships on these books are subtle but deeply moving, and the story slowly unfolds, and you realize some things, and it's devastating. And this book is one of the lightest sci-fi premise that it has. It leans more towards literary fiction, so if you are not usually into science fiction, you're going to love this book anyways. This book really is about memory, loss, love. It's about every human emotion possible, and really delves deep into what it means living a full life. So yeah, this is quite a read. This is quiet, eerie, unforgettable, and you are just going for a ride. This story is going to linger long after you finish it. For the last book on this sci-fi recommendation book is the first sci-fi ever written, and is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This is my 5 out of 5 book. I would say more 6 out of 5 stars book. It's just my all-time favorite, and I just love it. I don't think it needs any introduction, but if you think you know the story of Frankenstein because you have seen it in movies, in media, forget about it and read the book, because I assure you that you don't know anything about Frankenstein. The themes that Shelley creates of creation, isolation, responsibility, technology, they are just amazing. And I just love how Mary Shelley portrays empathy and how you really form a connection with the picture's creature that in most movies they're called Frankenstein, but it's actually the creature of Frankenstein, and it's just deeply moving and it's amazing. So if you want to know what it really means to be human, read this book. So I really recommend this classic. I'm not saying much because I just want to experience it for yourself, and I just know that you're going to love it. So yeah, that was Frankenstein. Let me know if you have more recommendations of sci-fi in the comments, and I hope you like this video. Goodbye!